Today, we are sharing two resources and the single missing infrastructure layer that connects them. The first is the Clinical Data Governance Checklist. The second is From Guidance to Practice, the Implementation Architecture Canada's Mental Health AI Governance now requires. Both are open access, released in 2026. Available on Zenodo under Clinical Data Governance. The gap is already here. A governance gap already exists in everyday clinical practice. A single clinical encounter can generate far more than notes, summaries, risk flags, embeddings, scores, metadata. These outputs move across vendors, across jurisdictions. Their life cycles are invisible to clinicians. Consent doesn't travel. Client consent rarely matches how AI-derived outputs are used, retained, and shared. Data flows are invisible. Clinicians can't see how data moves across vendor ecosystems and across borders. Accountability is absent. Frameworks govern datasets, but not AI-derived outputs created in real clinical work. Resource 1. Clinical Data Governance Checklist, CDGC, for structured, unstructured, and AI-enabled clinical systems. It is practice-ready and human-centered, built for digitally mediated psychotherapy. It is reflective, not regulatory, designed to be reused at adoption, renewal, and system updates. It is for psychotherapy clinics, individual practitioners, administrators and policy leads, implementation teams. The CDGC is openly licensed and available in the clinical data governance community on Zenodo. CDGC 7 governance domains. The checklist spans 7 governance domains across 11 practitioner-facing sections. Purpose limitation. Why data is collected and what it cannot be used for. Consent and transparency. Consent language aligned with actual data practice. Data mapping. Visibility of data flows across vendors and jurisdictions. Scope and proportionality. Data collection matched to genuine clinical need. AI-enabled features. Governance of AI-derived outputs. Summaries, risk flags, and more. Access and retention. Who can see data, for how long, and under what conditions. Accountability. Who is responsible when data practices cause harm? Resource 2. From Guidance to Practice. The second resource is a policy brief, From Guidance to Practice, the Implementation Architecture Canada's Mental Health AI Governance. Its argument is simple. Canada's mental health AI governance will succeed or fail on implementation architecture, not on principles. AI is entering clinical care faster than governance can follow. The brief names the missing layer: AI-derived clinical data governance between national guidance and real-world practice. It sets 4 priorities: consent accuracy, accountability architecture, equity audit requirements, practice-grounded evidence. It is openly available on Zenodo, the implementation architecture gap. Here is the core problem. At the top, national guidance, MHCC and CCSA frameworks, principles, and policy intent. At the bottom, clinical practice, vendor contracts, consent forms, platform decisions, session-level data flows. In between, nothing. AI-derived clinical data governance is missing. That missing layer means consent accuracy, accountability, equity audits, practice evidence. The CDGC bridges the gap at the point of care. The policy brief maps what national architecture must build next. Why this matters now? This matters now because AI is already embedded in clinical care. Every deployment, every session summary, every risk flag, each one is a governance event. MHCC and CCSA guidance is in development. Frameworks are coming. Implementation architecture is not yet in place. Meanwhile, practitioners are already deciding. Platforms are being adopted without governance infrastructure. equity is at risk. Without audit requirements, governance gaps concentrate harm in marginalized communities, and what isn't measured can't be governed. Right now, there is little empirical mapping of AI governance in clinical practice. The CDGC helps build that evidence. Call to action. Download both resources, use them, cite them. The Clinical Data Governance Checklist, practice-ready governance for ethical outcome monitoring in digitally mediated psychotherapy. From guidance to practice, a policy brief on the missing governance layer in Canada's mental health AI landscape. Both are open access, available on Zenodo by DOI. About Holistic Research Canada. Holistic Research Canada is an independent social enterprise focused on digital mental health implementation, clinical data governance, AI policy, and equity research. Cindy Hansen is the founder and chief science officer. She brings over 20 years in digital health, 15 years working with therapy outcome monitoring systems globally, and contributions to international practice communities, including EMHIC and ICCE. This work is equity-centered and open access. Written from Syilx Okanagan Territory in British Columbia, Canada. Thank you.